టెస్టింగ్ కోసం.
Yeah, yeah.
ఇదా
Okay. So Free Software Movement of India is free and open source community for India. And we named our state organizations. For every state, we have a regional organization. For every state, we try to name our regional bodies in the regional languages. So in Telugu, Free Software Movement converts to Swecha Software Udyamam, right? So that's why we've named our organization Swecha. So the context, now the meaning, you will understand the meaning of Swecha, the etymology of Swecha. Okay? In Odia, the regional body in Odia is called Swadhin. The free software in Odia is called Swadhin Software. So we name the regional organization for Odisha as Swadhin. So like Swecha AP, Swecha Telangana, Swadhin Odisha. We have regional bodies in across India. We have Free Software Movement Karnataka, Free Software Movement Tamil Nadu, Kerala. Okay. So Swecha is here from last 20 years. Swecha have a strong history of 20 years. We have officially registered in 2005, February 9. Okay. I'm part of Swecha from last 14 years. Raja is part of Swecha from 10 years. So you see many volunteers, who have, joined events like you, who started their journey contributing to open source projects, and we've been continuing in this journey for a long time. Okay. So to give you a little more introduction about what Swecha did, and now I'll give the larger picture. I'll give what we have done as a regional body, Swecha for Telugu states. Okay. How many of you can read Telugu? How many of you can speak Telugu here? Most of you, almost. Okay. So long back, but like 2 decades back, Telugu has almost very minimal or very low presence on internet. One of the very hardships is Telugu language or many major Indian languages didn't have Unicode. For a machine to communicate with other machine, we need something called protocol called Unicode. Okay? So I can proudly tell that Swecha is the organization we have founded on a broad project called Swecha project. One of our first steps is we have pioneered Unicode for Telugu language. So because we have
ఇది రెండువా is it okay? Oh yes. I'll do it. You don't. Yeah.
Swecha started its journey by pioneering the work for Telugu language Unicode. So now Unicode is there. Now we are able to see thousands of blogs, thousands of websites in Telugu language. Telugu Wikipedia now have more than 1 lakh articles as of 2025, and you've seen more than 10 lakh books are available in Unicode in Telugu. Okay, so this foundational work have helped build more technologies based on this. After we have done our Unicode work, then we thought Telugu language didn't have proper fonts that are accessible for everyone. We had only very single digit fonts that are proprietary, owned by some company. Like long back, I'm not sure, of course you're all 2000 bonds, right? Okay. So but from my experience I can tell when I was accessing internet in the era of 2005-6, that period. Okay. So if you try to copy something, for example, there used to be a website, if you try to copy something and try to paste it's broken. So some random symbols, but it's not Telugu. Okay. But because we made Unicode, we can do it easy, but the font is proprietary. So the next project we did is we created Telugu's first open source font. So that's our next project. Now that we have Unicode, now we have Telugu font, but the missing piece is keyboard. So then we went on creating the first open source Telugu keyboard. Okay. So we have Unicode, we have font, we have keyboard. But the point is, the problem, the missing gap is a proper glossary, a tech glossary. Okay. To give you a little more context, the popularly used words for personal computer is desktop and laptop. If you try to do makiki maki or word to word translation to Telugu, it will convert into curse words, right? You can't dare to do that. Okay? Can you try someone translating these to Telugu or any Indian languages? Awkward silences, right? So this is translation. So what we do is called localization. Okay? So in the process of localization, we try to see how this word can be contextualized to the regional colloquial language, okay, or the language majority of the people know and understand. So for desktop or laptop, what we named is, for Telugu students, we have to tell it screen right. So for Telugu culture or Telugu land, we localize that into a name called Rangasthalam. Okay, we name the computer screen as Rangasthalam. Other words are simple. For games, you can simply name it Atalu. Everyone can understand, right? So there's a huge process went into this. We partnered with linguists, Telugu linguists. We partnered with Telugu University here. We partnered with IT employees in early 2000s. We invited students from degree colleges, engineering students. This is all in the period of 2003-5. We did a very big community sprint with close to 1,500 people and created a English to Telugu tech glossary. Okay, and if you see all the apps you're using now, if you're trying to see WhatsApp interface in Telugu or Chrome interface in Telugu or any software interface in Telugu, many people who localize this software from English to Telugu still now use the glossary that is developed by Swecha. Okay, so this is the great foundation the organization have built. Now that we have all these pieces, we went a step ahead and created 100% Telugu operating system, and we launched it in 2005. So Swecha, we named it Swecha operating system. Swecha operating system is the first Indic operating system. Indic operating system, it's a 100% Telugu operating system. Not just first Telugu operating system. We can claim that it's first Indic operating system long back in 2005. Okay, is internet connected to this laptop, Darun? Laptop ki internet connected unda? Can you please show Swecha OS in the search engine? You will find it. You can also just type Swecha operating system. You'll find just go to images. So you can go to our website, read about all the history. Yeah, just zoom it, show it. So this is from our Wikipedia page screenshot. This is a sample of the Telugu operating system we created in 2005. Can you please zoom it or okay, this is also fine, I think. Okay, you can also search about it in your okay, PCs or mobiles. Okay, fast forward from 2005. So that is the great work we have done in 2005. In 2005, after releasing that, other language groups have partnered with us. Okay, other language groups like people from Malayalam community, people from Tamil community, people from Kannada community, Hindi community, Punjabis, Bengalis, everyone. Okay, they partnered with us, and in 2008 we have released Indic keyboard. So India's first open source Indic keyboard, and you can go and find it at fsmi.in/input. The website, you can, yeah. So that is the foundation of what we have done. So if you're trying to, I'm sure some of you use it, and most of your parents might be using it. So have you seen the Indic keyboard in your phones? So when you try to type in Telugu, Hindi or whatever regional language of India, so you see Microsoft Indic keyboard, Google Indic keyboard, many Indic keyboards, right? So these are all the Chrome, Edge, all these softwares are just brands of an open source product called Chromium. So you know this, right? Chrome, Microsoft Edge, all these projects, the more than 98% of the components are their login system and their branding and releases at Microsoft Edge, right? So all the popular indie keyboards are based on the open source indie keyboard project. Okay. So now this is the work we have done so far, and in last 20 years we mentored lakhs of students across India. Okay, and to give you a sample, in just Telugu states, close to 1 lakh students attend Swecha's activities. It could be internship, it could be boot camp, or some activity of Swecha, right? So Swecha, okay, like any other open source software, the product is free. Okay, we don't charge for the software. Trainings we would charge. Okay, if you do a workshops won't be free. If you do a corporate training in IT companies, you also do corporate training in IT companies. We charge. Okay, but to run such a big organization, we need money. Right? We are a non-profit organization. When you mean non-profit organization, all the money that comes to organization goes to some or the other activity of organization. Swecha has no employees. We don't have any employees. All members of Swecha are volunteers. I have a full-time job. Raja has a full-time job. So everyone does their. Typically, most of them are IT employees who do their full-day job, and they find time to Swecha to mentor people. And many students who do their research work, many PhD students, many MS by research students, they have their full-time academic work. Okay, so they are driven by passion and they want to contribute to free and open source ecosystem. So apart from their full-day job, they figure out some time to mentor people. Okay. So for this internship, can you please show the matrix triangle? So this internship we are aiming to reach to 1 lakh students. Okay. We have applications not just from Telangana. We have close to 2,000 applications from AP. We have hundreds of applications from almost every state in India. Okay. So because of the logistic issues, we are doing it complete online internship for people outside Telangana. But for people who are within Telangana, we have internship centers at Hyderabad, Khammam, Warangal, Nizamabad, and Karimnagar. We're also planning to open few more centers like Siddipet, Adilabad, and few other places. That is not yet confirmed, but we'll share you very soon. Even in Hyderabad, we are trying to open a few more centers. So IIIT Hyderabad is one. We're planning to open two more, one near Uppal, one near KPHB. Okay, by maybe in 2-3 days, we'll share you the complete list of internship centers. Okay, so hi. We can. Okay. So this will be the team structure. So this 1 lakh internship is divided into 4 cohorts. So today is the inaugural of cohort 1. Okay. For cohort 1, the level 1 is will have 25,000 interns. For 25,000 interns, you'll be mentored by 1,000 tech leads. So these tech leads are people, senior interns who have already done an internship earlier with Swecha or who have been associated with Swecha for more than 1-2 years. Okay, and contributed to open source projects. So these people will be your level 1 mentors. So above the tech leads will have AI coaches. AI coaches are AI engineers working in different companies like Microsoft, Google, Nvidia, Hugging Face. We have a network of AI engineers who will be having weekly calls and weekly interactions with you. And you can also not just ask them about to unblock your technical glitches, but also you can reach out to them for technical advice. You can reach out to them about ideas for your project. So about AI coaches, we have 5 cohort owners who will take care of everyday activities. They'll make sure that all of you have been completed your onboarding successfully. You've been added to WhatsApp groups. So we have all this list of things you are supposed to do day-wise, right? So the cohort owners will take care of that, and we have a program lead who will be coordinating with all 4 cohorts. Okay. So did you understand that? How many of you are, now that you have understood the cohort 1 team structure, I would like to ask this question again. So how many in this room are from tech lead batch? Very few. So we have a bunch of tech leads in other room because we didn't have enough space. We asked them to sit in other room. Okay. So once the inaugural is done, once we start the developer setup, I'll invite all our tech leads, to join this room. And if you have any glitches, if you have any doubts, you can reach out to them. Okay. Do you have the number? 040. Cheers. 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 3. So one last announcement for today. So this will be our helpline called Ask a Tech Lead. Please make a note of this number. So this number will be online from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. If you or any of your friends from your college, if they have any doubt, you can call this number. One of our tech lead will answer this call. Okay. రమేష్ కోసం పెట్టాను నువ్వు మాట్లాడు కానీ వస్తున్నానంట అంటే మెసేజ్ చేశాడు బట్
వద్దు ఆయన కూర్చుంటాను
We'll share more details. How many of you are yet to be added to WhatsApp groups? So our tech leads have added you to your respective college groups, but I'm sure some of you are yet to be added. I just want to know the count. Okay. Okay, sure. So we have tea break at 11:30. Okay. So at 11:30, please reach out to our tech leads and mention your college name. So they'll send you an invitation link for your group. So please join and mark your attendance as well. Okay. So now I invite Swecha's secretary, Praveen Chandras. Okay. So today we'll have Praveen Chandras and Professor Ramesh Loganathan. Praveen Chandras is secretary of Swecha. He's been now I told that I've been part of Swecha for 14 years. He's part of Swecha from close to 18 years. Okay. He's an alumnus of IIT Madras. How many of you use UPI on daily basis? So UPI have UPI or the earlier version of it, IMPS, had its contributions from IIT Madras Research Group. We proudly say that Praveen Chandras is part of the research group who have contributed for shaping up IMPS, and UPI is built on that IMPS. Now you know that UPI is used by not just lakhs, crores of people use it every day. So I invite Praveen Chandras to address our interns for Summer of AI. So in last 17 years of Swecha, with Praveen and team of Swecha have mentored lakhs of people from not just Telugu states, across India, to start the journey with not just open source, but now thousands of them have been grown as tech leaders in different companies. So Praveen, please talk about how this internship journey will help them progress in their career, and not just as regular employees, but how they can become tech leaders.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is, as Ranjit mentioned, Praveen Chandra Has. I've been associated with Swecha for about 18, 19 years now, which should tell you how old I am as well. So most of you are probably not even going to school when I first started my journey with Swecha. But welcome.
Hey, we need MCs for 2 rooms.
What we are calling the...
We need MCs for 2 rooms.
Okay.
From last 2 days, my 2 days కలిపి నేను పడుకుని 7 hours.
Mission to do something. And what is the mission?
I'm also dehydrating. అందుకని చెప్తున్నా. అంటే నా ఎనర్జీ నాకు తెలుసు, I can manage, but for 3-4 I'll be off.
Something.
Okay.
But it's not a mission.
బట్ కొంచెం ఎనర్జీ సేవ్ చేద్దాం అనుకుంటున్నా ఎప్పటి నుండే, సో దట్ ఐల్ బీ ఓకే టిల్ 6-7 అట్లాగా.
Doing other works to learn stuff.
అందుకే నేను పొద్దున్నే మెసేజ్ చేసి అవసరం అర్థం అయిపోయింది కాబట్టి
నేను పిలిచాకండి అది లేట్. దట్స్ వాట్స్ హ్యాపెనింగ్.
జస్ట్ ట్రై టు మేనేజ్. నేను మాట్లాడాను కానీ బట్ ట్రై టు హ్యావ్ ఎంసీస్ ఐడెంటిఫై. ఐ కాంట్ ఎవ్రీడే కదా. నేను మీరు చూసుంటే నేను ఇక్కడ లేను, కంప్లీట్ విషయంలో ఉన్నా. సో ఐ విల్ బి అన్అవైలబుల్ ఫ్రమ్ దిస్ ప్లేస్ ఫ్రమ్ టుడే.
Done what we are trying to do with this 1 lakh
సో ఐడెంటిఫై
internships.
ఎంసీస్.
How many of you used ChatGPT, Gemini, any of these things? Right? Do you know how these are built? These are all LLMs, right? They're large language models, right? You know, any idea of the rough estimate of the cost of building such a large language model or developing such a large language model? 50 lakhs. Boss, I can give you 50 lakhs right now. I'll get some debt or something. Can you please create one? It costs billions of dollars. It costs billions of dollars to build a large language model like a ChatGPT or Gemini or some of these things. Why is it so costly? Why is it so costly? The servers, essentially, you require GPUs to train these models, right? And GPUs are costly. The amount of energy that is required to run these GPUs is humongous. In fact, if you want to run ChatGPT a day, just for the GPUs or not even the GPUs, just the energy cost is in millions of dollars. Just the electricity cost is in millions of dollars, right? In which case, if I have to spend billions of dollars to create an LLM, a large language model like ChatGPT or Claude or any of these things, can we create large language models for our country with our languages, our nativity, our culture? Let's say in Telugu, Hindi, Kannada, Tamil, Gujarati, Bengali, can we create this? How many languages are there in India? Possibly thousands, officially at least 22 we have, right? If we have to create these 22 large language models for each language, each culture, each nativity, can India afford to spend these $22 billion in building up these large language models? Do we even get the GPUs? I'm sure all of you have been following the news with the US tariffs and all. How many of you know that US now has import tariffs and export tariffs and all that stuff? Right? You've seen, for example, that even Harvard is now not accepting foreign students. Right? It's already very difficult to even buy a GPU. This is one problem. One side of the problem is the GPU problem, right? The GPUs are very costly, GPUs are very power hungry, and you will be spending billions of dollars in trying to build an LLM. The other side of the story is these LLMs are built on massive amounts of data. ChatGPT 4, for example, is built on about 3 or 4 trillion tokens, as we call it, right? Tokens are essentially words, let's say, for now, for our understanding, right? English, because of English being a colonial language, is available all over the internet. But what about our languages? What about the languages we all speak on a daily basis? Whatever language, whatever your mother tongue is, whatever your native tongue is, do you think it's comparable to English on the internet? Or even digital presence of whatever you have heard? All the stories that your grandparents used to tell you when you were kids, or your parents used to tell you when you were kids, do you think all those stories are in some digital format? What about recipes that your mother makes? What about when you go to your hometown? What about all the things that you see? Do you think all of these are in some digital format? None of these are in digital format. At least not in terms that can be compared to what is available in English or other colonial languages. We are here on a mission to see if all of us together can create our own large language models in a very, very, very different way. India is a democratic country, right? can we now create democratic AI? Can we create AI that can be used by all, that can be built by the people and used for the people? Can we try and do that? What do I mean by used by the people or for the people? What is the biggest barrier to accessing ChatGPT today? Internet, let's say, is being solved. Internet, most people today have a smartphone. They're able to access internet some form or another. Language is a huge issue, right? You cannot type in English. You cannot ask questions in English. Yes, today ChatGPT understands some amount of Telugu, but if you ask it a question in your native dialect, in your native accent, or if you ask a question that has some cultural elements, a ChatGPT will not be able to answer. ChatGPT, make no mistake, is not a thinking machine, right? All these large language models are just what we call probabilistic models. They just predict the next word, right? Which means it needs to be trained on our data, first of all, to be able to answer our questions. If these large language models are not trained on our data, they will not know your culture, they will not know our nativity, they will not know our traditions. It is our responsibility to create large language models in a language that is accessible, which is whatever people are speaking around, in the way they speak, in different dialects, different accents, using their cultural knowledge, using their traditional knowledge. This is something a Google or a ChatGPT or OpenAI or Claude or some of these other big corporates will never do. It is upon us as the community. It is upon us as the community to do it. You are here to learn as well. You are here to learn as well. Yes, you will be learning. But I am going to pose a question to you all. Do you all want to just learn, or do you want to learn and build as well? Do you all want to be a part of this building this LLM? Let us take a small pledge sort of a thing. I am not asking you to repeat after me or anything. Let's say over the period of this internship, 80% of the time can be put into your own self-learning. Understanding AI, understanding Python, supervised learning, unsupervised learning, Gen AI, transformers libraries. You're going to learn all of this. Ranjit has already put out the course structure and everything. You're going to be learning all of this stuff. But can we dedicate 20% of this time into contributing and then building our own LLM? Can we all do that? Can we put up this 80-20 rule? 80% of our time, let's say, is for our own self-fulfillment. It's for our own growth. It's for our own learning, understanding. But 20% as a contribution to the society. Is that something that we can all adopt in our larger life as well? Maybe that is something that we should start thinking about. Even if 80% of your time is spent on, or your efforts is spent on your own growth, 20% of time, I think we should all contribute to the society in one way or another. And you're all engineers here, or budding engineers. What better way to contribute than creating an engineering solution, than creating an AI that can be used by the people, that is created by the people and then used by the people as well. We are creating it for whom? We are creating it for the people. When I say for the people, it means it needs to be accessible in a language that they can speak, they can understand. English is not the common language here. Make no mistake. Let's just take Telangana as an example. What do you think is the literacy rate of Telangana? Mid 70s, let's say 75%. Does it mean that 75% of the people speak or read and write in English? Literacy does not equate to English, friends. Literacy means that they can sign or read and write in their own language. If you look at the country level, then the percentage of English speaking population is far lesser. Probably around 15 to 20%, let's say. What about the rest of the 80%? I will say it is the duty of everybody who is sitting here to create technologies that can be used by the rest of the 80% of the population who are not well versed with English. We are in a unique position. You speak multiple languages. I'm sure all of you sitting in this room speak at least 3 languages each. All of you read and study in English, but you are well versed in your own native tongues and at least one other language. Why can we not use this unique position? And you all know technology. You all know technology. Technology today is, is there everywhere. It is not just related to computer science. Make no mistake, AI is not just for computer science or data science alone. It is like, you're too young, you will not know, but 20 years ago, people thought all these laptops and computers were only for computer science folks. But today, computers are there in every field. Whatever field you choose, you go to a bank, you go to a restaurant, you go to any place, there is software that's running behind them. If today's software is not running, today's computers or something internet goes down, it is not just a problem for your Instagram or TikTok. Your whole country is going to shut down. Your railways are dependent on it. Your airways are dependent on it. Your public transport, your electricity, your water, everything is dependent on computing. In another maybe 10 years at the most, AI will become the new electricity. Right? When I say electricity, it is not going to power your lamps and all. I mean that it is going to become ubiquitous. AI is going to be there everywhere. All of you are uniquely positioned to learn AI. All of you are uniquely positioned because of your language advantage. You know technology, you are technologists, you are going to become engineers, and you know AI, or you can use AI to create solutions. But the first thing that we are going to do in this internship is be a part of creating the first democratic AI. What we are trying to do is the 20% of your time that we are going to spend will be spent on collecting data, and then using that data, each one of us is going to contribute to building the LLM. That will be part of the 4th week journey, right? That will be explained by the mentors and all a little later. But I want us all to become part of this Seta Sahasra Yagam. That is the mission that we are talking about. That is the Yagnam that we are talking about. Can 1 lakh of us come together? Let's take a simple example. If 1 lakh of us come together, okay, over the course of 1 month, let's say just we spend 20% of our time in collecting the data. If each one of us can talk to 20 people, okay, and collect some data, what are we asking? We are not asking them personal details. We are going to ask them, can you tell us stories that your parents or grandparents used to tell you? Can you tell us some recipes that your mother used to make? Can you tell us something special about your own native place? Can you tell us about the flora and fauna of your place? Can you tell us about the agriculture? Anything, all cultural data that you can think, whatever means culture to you. Can you talk about the temples of your place? Can you talk about the freedom fighters from your place? Anything, whatever you think of as culture. Just go and meet 20 people. Sir. Are we going to collect the voice itself? Yes, we are going to collect voice. If possible, I am requesting you all to collect videos as well. We are asking you to collect audio. If possible, record the video as well. If you see some people, in Karimnagar, for example, there is still the hand-woven clothing, right? If you go to some other place and you see some other art form that is about to become extinct, why don't you record it on videos as well? We are going to collect all of this data. Let's say 1 lakh people talking to 20 people each, okay? You're going to collect, 2 million data points. Each of them, if you talk to them for, let's say, 10 minutes, if you talk to them for 10 minutes asking them to explain this cultural data, the amount of data that we are going to gather is going to be humongous. It is going to be equivalent to what is ChatGPT. ChatGPT did not even collect this data legally. I'm sure all of you know there are lots of cases on OpenAI, from New York Times to The Guardian, Washington Post. Everybody is now filing cases on ChatGPT because they have violated copyrights. They have no regard for law and all. But we are going to ethically collect data. We are going to ethically collect data. We are not collecting personal information. We are collecting what is our culture. We are asking people to share their knowledge. We are taking their consent and recording the knowledge. That is what we are trying to do. 20% of your time, let's say each one of us meets 20 people each. Ask them for 10 minutes of their time and record this. Massive amount of data we are going to first of all generate. But the data itself will not lead to an LLM. All of these LLMs need huge GPUs to train the data and then create a model out of it. What are we going to do about it? We don't have these many GPUs. But I see almost everybody here has a laptop. Everybody here, there are let's say 200 laptops here. If I combine the power of all of these laptops, it's equivalent to let's say 1 GPU. 200 laptops is 1 GPU. But that's fine. What is 1 lakh divided by 200? Don't look at me, I am poor at math. Somebody has to answer. What is 1 lakh divided by 200? You are also poor at math like me. Okay, some big number. 500, 5,000, 50,000, I am getting all, surely not 50,000. 500, 5,000. Okay, let's agree on 5,000. Mathematics can also be democratized. We'll put a vote whether it is 500 or 5,000. 500? 500, okay. Let's say we have access to, then can we now imagine this? If there are 1 lakh students participating, 1 lakh people might not have laptops, but all of you have a cell phone. Your cell phone today is as powerful as your laptop, if not more powerful than your laptop, right? All your cell phones are at least a quad core processor. If you are playing that BGMI or whatever that is, you very likely have a GPU as well on your phone, right? So let's say 1 lakh people contributing together gives us 500 GPUs. Okay, what is the cost of one GPU approximately today? Do you know the kind of GPUs that are required to train these LLMs? Each one is at about 60 to 70 lakhs each minimum, and each one is about 60 to 70 lakhs each, right? So if I am getting 500 GPUs because of all of us using our laptops or mobile phones, amount of money that we are saving is equivalent to 500 into 60 lakhs. Again, poor at math, please do your own calculation. That is the amount of money that we are saving. We need not even buy these GPUs, right? We are all going to do what we call federated learning. Federated learning, not your learning. It's a, you have heard of deep learning, all of you? Heard the word deep learning? All of these LLMs are trained on the technique of deep learning, which requires these GPUs, where all the data is collected at one place. They're put on huge GPUs clusters and then trained. What we are trying to do now here is a very different thing. Each of you is going to collect this data, right? That's what we said. Each one of us will talk to 20 people. Let's say each of us collects, I don't know, 10 hours of data, which means you have the 10 hours worth of 1 GB or 10 GB of data with you locally. Can I use my own laptop? Can I use my own phone? Or can I use a CPU at my college? All of you will have machines at your college, right? Can I then train just this 1 GB, this 10 GB of data locally? How many of you use Google Colab or something like that? Right? Google Colab in fact gives you a small GPU, right? Here we are going to give the equivalent of a Google Colab, right? We are going to give the equivalent of a very small GPU. That plus your laptop plus phone, can I create now instead of 500, can I create 1000 GPUs, the equivalent power of 1000 GPUs. Each one of us will be training locally. Just that 1 GB or 10 GB of data that you collect, we will train your local, every one of us, we will train our model locally. We will do that deep learning on our own local systems or using the equivalent of the Google Colab that we will provide with you, right? Then you can create one small part of the model. One small part of the model. It's only one drop in an ocean. Collectively, if all these drops come together, if these 1 lakh drops come together, that is when we can actually create the ocean. Individually, it might look like a small drop to you. Each one of you is creating that one drop. But collectively, when the 1 lakh of us come together and add up all these drops, that's when you create this ocean. That is when we can create this LLM by ourselves. And that should be our mission. 80% of your time, do spend on learning, do spend on upskilling yourselves. Tomorrow, there is no job where, if you go and just talk in English, you are going to get past the interview. Right? That is not the case. I'm sure all of you are looking for good jobs tomorrow as well. You're looking for good technical skills as well. 80% of your time, spend on that. 20% of the time, let's contribute back to the society. Are we all agreed on it? Let's all collect this, 20 million hours of data. Yes? Will you all be a part of building this democratic AI? Alright? Alright then, once again, welcome to Swecha and welcome to this internship. I hope you'll have a lot of fun in both learning as well as building this together. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much.
that's a proper overview on how this 1 lakh internship sounds, right? So we now have another guest here, Kasinadri Nagendranath Garu. So he works as a engineering investor for startup T-Hub, and he mentors all the startup ideas business in T-Hub, and the brain behind when we started this one almost an year ago. So how do we come up with the 1 lakh internships and all? So Nagendranath Garu is closely working with us. So I would like to invite Nagendranath Garu to have a few words with you.
Sir, mic. Can I put mic?
అలాగే పనిచేస్తుంది ఇది మనకి ఇది అక్కర్లేదు అప్పుడు దిస్ ఇస్ నాట్ రిక్వైర్డ్
This is for live. This is for here.
ఓకే ఓకే
Good morning. Wow, this is very inspiring. Seeing so many of you, and I'm told there are other people live as well. So, I don't know if you realize, but you're on the anvil of participating in something which is for the first time in the world ever. You're part of making history, and I don't know if you know what Praveen did many years ago in his college. Do you know what Praveen did when he was in college and he was part of a... some of you are aware. How many of you are aware? Raise your hands. Not many. Okay, you're very shy to raise your hand. Praveen was part of the first team that did the UPI code, the speaker before, right? So what he worked on is now what we use when we scan and pay. So at that time, Praveen didn't know that it will be part of such a, transformative, what do you call it, innovation or experiment, right? It was so great.
We are doing it on live YouTube, so can you stand there?
Here, between these two?
Yeah.
Good? Okay. So, but you people know now. Praveen didn't know. But you know that you're part of something which is going to define how these can be built across the world. I'm just back yesterday from a trip. I was in New Zealand. And New Zealand has the Maoris, who are the native people there. And they have the same problem. They are culturally rich but digitally poor. And when I spoke to some of them about the experiment we are doing, you can't call it experiment, we call it a yaga, right? A yajnam. That is what they are surprised, and they are excited that something like this is happening across the world that can be replicated, the best practices can be used. I would urge each one of you to take this as I'm telling you that you're part of something very special, and you're part of something that will define how technology will be built. Not for the benefit of a few, but for the benefit of all. When you look back at our cultural history, look at whatever you think of, look at the Vedas, look at the Ramayanas, look at the Mahabharatas, look at any of our cultural things, our folk songs. Who owns a patent to those? Did Valmiki or anybody put outside board saying, for every 3 students, 2 students free, please come? No, right? Our culture is not like that. We as a cultural entity, we share and we grow because we share. And this, what we want to do here, of building models that can be useful to everybody, is based on that tradition. That it should benefit everybody should contribute, and the sum should be, the whole should be greater than the sum of its parts. Okay? So if you're just coming here for a certificate, you're just coming here because somebody asked you to come, if you're just coming here because your friend is coming, you're doing yourself a great disservice. Respect yourself more, take pride in what you do, take pride in what you contribute. right? Very important, right? So make the most of this opportunity, learn something, and give back a small portion of what you learned back to society. And this, what we are doing, is just a drop in the ocean. 100,000 students is a very small number compared to the number of people we have. Correct? So I want to make sure that you realize the import of this, how important this is. You realize that you're contributing to something special. You realize that you're picking up a skill that is very hot in the market today. It is going to become the lingua franca of technology. It's like knowing typewriting. When I was very young, you people may not even know this, there used to be type institutes where people would go to learn typing. Maybe your parents or your grandparents were doing it. And people said, if you know typing, at least you'll get some job. Then people started going to English medium schools, saying that, oh, English medium, how many of you know Telugu? Most of you. English lo chaduvukunte ఉద్యోగానికి కొంచెం బాగుంటుంది అనుకునేవారు. Later on it became, you have to be at least IT aware, right? Even today I get CVs from my people who work in my neighborhood, who are like the shopkeepers, tea sellers, saying, sir, my wife or my daughter or my son has got this certificate. And that will be like, they know how to do MS Word or something. But today, the new lingua franca is what you're going to do. This is what is defining the world. Irrespective of the industry you're in, the amount of advances that are happening are phenomenal. If you're not on this side of the fence, you'll find it very difficult if you're on the other side. The great digital divide has become wider. This is so important for you. Please take it very seriously, upgrade yourself, take advantage of this enormous pool of intellectual talent that is there to help you. IIIT Hyderabad is no small institute. I don't know how many of you know, but it has one of the best robotic labs in the world, definitely in Asia. Right? And you have professors from here where people will give an arm and a leg to sit in one lecture of theirs. I am one of those who didn't go to IIT. How many of you are here who are like that? Right? I wanted to go to IIT, but I couldn't go to IIT. So coming to an institute like this and seeing this great atmosphere and clever people who are willing to share their time on weekends for us is something we should take with both hands. Maximize it. Make the best use of it. So later on you will hear other people. I'm just a filler in this. I have no credentials other than being friends of Viswam. Whereas you guys have all the capability, the other speakers are very accomplished. Make the best use of them. What I bring to the table is I understand what corporates want. I help startups. So any of you have startups idea after this program, reach out through Viswam and we'll see what we can do. Because there is so much opportunity out there. Every day at least a dozen new AI startups are coming, started by young people like you. Okay? So thank you very much for this time. I don't know where Rajshekhar is, but thank you. Any questions?
Can I ask for a hooray for these people now, sir?
Sure. Did you hear him? What did he say? You want a hooray? Okay. So, because we are starting now, let's say 3 cheers to Viswam, 3 cheers to this Yagnam. Hip hip. Hooray. Hip hip. Hooray. Hip hip. Hooray. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So thank you, Nagendran Garu.
I'm done. Who's next? No, I don't have.
Extra.
Yeah. So we'll continue working on the tech stack. So now I'll call maybe tech leads to assist you, and whoever is watching, I request you to. I hope you have received the emails on how do you complete the tech stack setup and all. So we request you to go through that. So thank you. I think I'll close now, and we'll come to you and see how we can work together. Thanks.
Even if you haven't received the mails, we are displaying the tech stack right now, and tech leads will be here to assist you on installing. If you have any trouble installing any of these, you can just raise your hands and our tech leads will help you out. Can I get a thumbs up if everybody understood? Okay, done.
So if someone is from BITS Learning, Hyderabad, Goa, Learning campus, and if someone is from IIIT campus, please move to front side.
So people who have joined remotely, we will be displaying some tech stack content on the screen now in coming minute. So make sure you install all those setup and you make that requirements file done, so that it will be easy for onboarding, and be interactive, and in the chat box, and if you have any queries you can drop into the chat box, and make sure you done with all those tech stack installation and setup. Thank you. That's the basic step of onboarding into the internship. Thank you.
చాట్లో ఏమని చెప్తావా క్వశ్చన్స్